Over the weekend, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene said something dumb. Well, of course, I guess that shouldn't really be too entirely noteworthy. Nonetheless, it was dumb, and we're going to make fun of it. How about that? So recently, like I said, on Saturday, she decided to tweet about climate change. Always fun, always ridiculous. And it may even involve
Jewish space lasers.
No, I'm kidding. Not really. But let's get into what she says, which is pretty much equally dumb. She starts out saying, if you believe that today's climate change is caused by too much carbon, you've been fooled. Oh, well, you know what they say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Can't get fooled again. You can't get fooled again. Okay, how are we fooled by carbon, climate change, whatever? Well, here's her explanation. You're gonna love this. Quote, we live on a spinning planet that rotates around a much bigger sun, along with other planets and heavenly bodies rotating around the sun that all create gravitational pull on one another while our galaxy rotates and travels through the universe. It's almost as if this is the first time Marjorie Greene has ever opened up a science textbook. Like what is this, like first grade? It's a third grade? No, it's got to be like second grade, first grade stuff. Margie's first science textbook. Yay! Good job. You even sounded out some of the bigger words. I'm impressed. Very, very impressed. Okay. No, mocking aside, okay, sure, that's true. Yes, the things that she said there, I don't have any contention with as far as, yes, turns out the Earth does spin. I know. And we rotate around the sun. Wow. You are now officially smarter than someone living in the 12th century? 10th century? At least in the United States. Or I'm sorry, not in the United States, but at least in like the Western world. Because the United States, of course, didn't exist back then. And it always is funny, though, now that I think about it, that there are people who believe, oh, no, see, you understand, Jesus was really concerned about the United States. Jesus, the United States did not exist back in the time of the Bible. Jesus. Okay, but anyway. So now, what is this all coming to a conclusion? Well, she says, considering all of that, yes, our climate will change. And it's totally normal. Okay, I think something. I'm not sure quite how to put this, right? Does climate change? Yes. No one. Does it change naturally? Yes. There's never been a scientist. Well, I guess I can't say never been. But the current scientific consensus is that yes, climate has changed naturally. Wow, what a revelation. No one was saying that it didn't change. What we're saying is the rate of change is vastly different than before. Ever since humans began pumping a lot more carbon into the atmosphere by burning fossil fuels, turns out in the burning of fossil fuels, you release carbon, methane, and other greenhouse gases. Much like the things that come out of Marjorie Greene's mouth. And well, actually, you know what? We all exhale carbon dioxide. So yes, we are all literally pumping out, every one of us, carbon dioxide. But you know what? That's not really the problem. The problem is we also have massive industries, coal, oil, natural gas, Even the agriculture industry, which is putting out a ton of carbon. Now, generally, there are systems in place to be able to deal with the amount of carbon that is being put on the atmosphere by all these different things. Except, the amount that industry has put as a result of course, a lot of different factors: population, industrialization, climate regulation, you know all that stuff, right? It's basically gotten to the point where there are not enough natural systems to absorb the excess carbon, which is leading to massive amounts of warming. Rich people in private jets, that's another good example. Air travel in general, the reliance on vehicles, personal vehicles, instead of, for example, more public transportation. There are ways that, of course, that can be mitigated. Not just like going after the individual, because it drives me nuts when the onus for climate change is placed on the individual. Here, have a paper straw, right? While giant Scrooge McDuck Corporation over there is just belching it out of their smokestacks. No, why don't we go after the corporations? You know what I'm saying? Why don't we try to mitigate and reduce that instead of going after the individual? But anyway, that's not where Marjorie Greene is at. Marjorie Greene is like, no, you don't understand. More carbon, good. Oh, we'll get to that. Okay. So look, lucky for us, for human beings, the Earth's climate had been relatively stable for thousands of years, up until, of course, the end of the basically industrialization, right? So we had industrialization, started putting out all that carbon, and golly gee, the global temperature started going up, causing all sorts of different weather effects, strong storms, etc. Yeah. And, well, to prove her point, though, her point, which is, it's not the carbon, it's always been changing. She posts up this graph. I'm not kidding. Take a look. Environmental mastery. It says increasing the use of fossil fuels while reducing air pollution. What? Wait. How does that make sense? That doesn't make any sense. And it's got all these different things, right? There's one thing that's missing, and you'll, I'm sure you might already have seen what's missing, the problems with this graph. Where's the carbon dioxide? Where did it go? There's nothing there. There's no carbon. Doesn't say carbon there. You're like missing the most important point. The most important thing in this graph. It's gone. Where did it go? I don't know. It just disappeared. You know what it is? It's got to be the fault.
Jewish space lasers.
That's it. It zapped all the carbon away. That's what happened. I don't know. It also could be
Nancy Pelosi's gazpacho police
going and arresting all the carbon. That's why it's not in the graph. Okay, that's why it's not in the graph. It's got to be something. It's got to be something. Oh, okay. So now look. Here's the thing. A lot of experts have come out and said, "Hey, look, there's some issues here." Okay. Brant Beckman, for example, is a meteorologist in South Dakota at a news station, KNBN. Here's what he posted in response. If you're trying to present this graph in a basic statistics course, the teacher would have thrown a chair at the chalkboard. These are nonsense words, like pretending you speak German by mumbling strange words together. Another meteorologist chimed in. This is Brad Miller, who said this. Now let's show the chart of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere over that same time, since that's the one that's actually warming our Earth. Oops. Yeah, there it is. Oops. Ryan Matoush, a meteorologist at KNST News Topeka, added this: "It's absolutely mind-boggling to me that someone like this holds a position of power and responsibility. Where did we go so wrong?" Well, look, can't really blame everybody for the acts of some of the Georgia voters. You know what I'm saying? Can't really blame everybody. Again, we have massively gerrymandered districts, and of course, people like Marjorie Greene who are just fighting the culture wars. And unfortunately, that appeals to a lot of people. And some of the people that Marjorie Greene appeals to really don't give a damn about the environment. They don't give a damn about any of that. Okay? A lot of these people are convinced that Jesus is going to hoover them up into heaven any day now. So, I mean, you know, I guess they ain't really all that worried.
Get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
No. They don't want you. They don't want you to do that. No, not at all. Okay, so now one more here. This is from NASA, a NASA climate scientist named Chris Kalos, who said, "Good news, climate Twitter. We forgot that the Earth spins and revolves, so it's time to pack up and go home." So look, it's fun to make fun, okay? But what's going on with Marjorie Greene is, I think, fairly obvious. She's a moron, but she's a well-paid moron. Fossil fuel companies love people like Marjorie Greene because they're more than happy to be the mouthpiece of, you know, their business model, which again is to make massive amounts of money, hawking a product that is detrimental to the environment and will eventually be, and as already is in many ways, detrimental to humans overall. So, you know. Now, her graph, and I want to go back to that because I think that's really important to show you where it's coming from. That first graph, let me put it back up. That is from Fossil Future. Now, Fossil Future, you can see over in the left corner there is a book, barely qualifies as literature anyway, written by somebody named Alex Epstein. So who is Alex Epstein? Well, apparently for the past 2 decades, Epstein has, floated some interesting theories about the climate while working with the Ayn Rand Institute and the Cato Institute in order to push pro-oil and gas corporate talking points. This guy even has his own for-profit think tank. So just coming out and saying, like, oh yeah, of course, I want to make money. Oh yeah. And some of my donors are, you know, people that are in the industry. But don't worry, none of that has an impact on the things that I am saying. What were the things that he's saying? Well, before I get to that, let me just note that the Center for Industrial Progress is what his think tank is called. I know, hilarious. And this guy is often seen palling around with such fine intellectuals as Lauren Boebert, Dennis Prager, Scott Adams, yes, the Dilbert guy, and Candace Owens, grifter, super grifter. But he says, look, I'm not a climate denier. Oh, no, I don't deny the climate at all. In fact, I think we need more warming. I'm not kidding. More warming, more greening, more fossil fuels. That's what he says. And the right looks at this and says, nailed it. Yes, we need more. We need more of that. Gee, I wonder why. Oh, right, it's the money. It's generally the money. Look, this is the dominant narrative now in the right wing. Oh, yeah, no, like climate change, it is happening, but, you know, it's natural. And it's totally fine. It has nothing to do with all the fossil fuel companies. Nothing at all. What are you talking about? I don't see any sort of connection here. Oh, is that my money? Oh, yeah. Yeah, just put it in my wallet. No, that's them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just put it right in my account. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. Climate change, not a thing. Not real. I mean, but actually kind of real, but it's just not really that bad. What talking points am I putting out today? This situation with this guy, with Marjorie Greene's help, by the way, it's a situation as if, think of your house being on fire. So your house is on fire, and then Alex Epstein walks up and says, "You know what you need? You need more fire. Let's give you more fire. Put more gas on it.